Salutations, mortals, and welcome to From the Jump. I'm your host, Oken, and these are interviews of creatives by creatives. Today we have one really special guest. As you can see, I'm wearing the hat today. We have Ch.01 in the house. This man is beyond talented. I don't even know how many different creative aspects he's in, but I'll let him tell you himself. Jets, how you doing, brother?
Yes, yeah. Thanks for having me, brother. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for coming through, man. You know, it's blessed to have somebody like you, one of the real OGs out here. You know what I mean?
Yes. No. I have to, because it's not always where you can have a conversation with someone from, in another country, like where you hardly go. I mean, I was in Namibia, how many years ago? 2016. 2016.
Oh, yeah. That was a year, I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And to have this conversation with you was like the one we should have had then. So you can imagine all the built up anxiety and excitement.
Can you give him a little intro? I don't want you to go too much into depth because I will be pulling out some of those things throughout our convo. But please do give them a little intro and let them know exactly who the king is.
Sure. I'm a writer, composer. I dabble in a bit of instrument playing, the guitar. But my forte is rap and poetry, especially in Afrikaans, mostly in Afrikaans. Yeah, so that's just in short.
Yeah, that's speaking of, the fact that you do your art in Afrikaans predominantly. I know that, okay, let me just give a little bit of a history for those, because I have to do this every time. People are always wondering, why is it this artist that Oken has chosen? So I met you, the first time I met you was in OBS. We were in observatory for Ali, that dude, when he was still Nemesis, and he had a show in observatory with sushi and beer that I opened up for, and that was the day I met you. And I remember what you said to me very clearly that day, because I forgot my words. It was the first time that I performed without paper in front of my face, nothing in my hands. I'm there trying to do it from memory. I remember afterwards you came to me and you were like, man, you were nervous. It's fine. It's nerves. It happens to everybody. But your voice and the things you're saying, my bro, don't stop. And I was like, oh, wait. Okay, no, I know who Jets is, because I already knew who you were. You know what I mean? It was like, so I was like, fuck, all right, cool. Just fucking with it. I'm fucking with it. Let's go.
Yeah, I will never forget that day, but it was the first time I was at that venue. What's it called? The lounge or something?
Something weird like that.
Pretty small upstairs lounge, and I like the layout. As you come in, you can see what's happening upstairs through these big monitors, like flat screens. And I thought, man, if I have a launch, I want to have it like same way you guys had it. Picturized. Yeah, it was. I I remember Ali's performance. He was the only guy I remember. For a long time, I haven't seen that, but he had his shirt buttoned up right to the top.
He still does that.
He still does. I still follow him. I'm a fan, bro, of anyone doing hip hop trying to be different. But yeah, just in that particular performance, I want to say that he gave a very spectacular performance in terms of his energy, because I could hear he was a writer. Sometimes we write. Like, who said it? I saw a post by Tech9, one of my favorite MCs.
No doubt.
Very unorthodox, with flows and stuff. And concept, subject matter. And he says that sometimes we write to win instead of writing to perform. And you can hear it when someone performs. So for me, Ali was a writer who, when he performed, he tried to win the performance as well. It took a lot of energy.
Yeah, nah, man. It's
but of course you too.
Well, with how nervous I was that day.
But you remember those days. I always remember the days I make mistakes, man. I don't
That's
remember
how we learn
the days. Yeah, and we should.
No doubt. So a little thing I wanna touch on is something that a lot of people might not know. I actually remember before I met you, and this is how I knew who you were before that day, was before I think, when it was it 2009? No, it was way before 2009, 2004, somewhere around there. I think it was 2004, 2005. when you had Africups came out?
Okay. So let's go with forward. Africa started in 2009, and we think we launched it in 2010. So yeah, I know it feels like a long time ago.
It feels longer.
But exactly a decade, no? April. Yeah. Yeah, that
Yo,
was
okay, so I
that
actually
was
met you
when,
before Africups then. That's weird. I always thought it was the other
yeah,
way around.
yeah, no, before.
Where did I
Before.
see you before that?
I think
You
it
see,
was
this is
2007, 2008.
yeah, no, it couldn't have been 2009. Must have been 2000, like somewhere around 7 or 9. Yeah, man, they're around. We all right. That makes more sense. Now, just
Mm.
you really,
Mm.
you're a person that I know is very into community. You know, you're really about your community. You're about uplifting your community, and not
Yep.
just through um, shows and what, but also through action, and through how you carry yourself and how you deal with people. You uplift
Mm.
your community, and I've been seeing it for. I mean, I've been following you since forever, so I've been seeing it for a long time. If
Mm.
there was something that you could say to up and coming, creatives that also want to get into helping their communities out, but don't really know how to go about
Mm.
starting, what would be your advice? Because a lot of people they also only just known as the artist. Like, let's say for me, let's use me as an example. I'm known as Oken, but there's also Nikolai, the person. So what would you
So
tell a younger, you know, version of yourself that's trying to come up?
yeah, okay. I deal with up and coming or fresh MCs or writers on a weekly basis, and I always try to remind them, as I remind myself, still to this day, that in order to get yourself off the ground, you need to overcome the fear of making mistakes.
Mm, mm,
You
mm.
need to allow yourself to make mistakes because that's when the magic happens.
Agreed.
That I wouldn't have, landed where I was or where I am right now. That could be reminded me when I met you. Um, it's like I could see the nervousness that you had.
Aware. But to add to what you're saying, I think that is a problem with most creatives, especially up and coming creatives. I was definitely exactly like that. I was so shit scared of messing up my words, forgetting a line, that it was inevitable that I was going to do it. And instead of
Yes,
working on the
yes.
fact that it's going to happen, so find a way to move with it. It doesn't seem as prevalent to people. I was so just in my head, man. And that's why I totally agree with you. Mistakes are there to teach us. It's how we learn.
Yeah,
So just what I want to do is I want to jump straight up into the questions, what I have out here, just for those that
sure.
don't know. How we do this is I have a few questions that I use to go in and out of different interviews. So it works as a constant theme, more or less, that's going through. And I'm just going to shoot it off for you. First question, Jets.
Yeah.
If there was one moment from your creative journey that you could relive, which would it be? But only one. You can only choose one.
Oh, it was probably be my most toughest performance when I met my wife. I performed at this club called Waiting Room in Long Street, and it was the night before I left for my very first trip overseas to perform for the Taiwan Migration Music Festival, which is a cultural festival, not a hip hop festival. And I remember before the show, people would come in and I stood under the stairs because there's a staircase like in the middle of the floor going up. And I stood there trying to gather myself because now through the door is coming all these legends and people that you perform for. But now they're going to see you differently, performing with a guitar, and that kind of doing poetry and stuff. And that night, I received I received a congratulations, if I may.
Mm.
That was unlike any other that I've had before then. You know, people saw me, I think, in a new light. Okay, so you're going on this journey now. You know, you're about culture now. You want to dig
Aware.
deeper into yourself. Because that's what I communicated from our performances. Like, I'm done with the beaten path of beats and rhymes as an MC with a DJ. I'm going here. Different time structures, different concepts, you know, subject
Aware,
matter.
yeah.
So
Live
it
music.
really took over. Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's the one. 2007. September 2007.
Aware,
Yeah.
aware. And that was the night you met wifey, so you know.
Yeah. Not the way it wasn't established that, you know, I asked her for a number and we're gonna go out there kind of. No. She was a journalist at the time, and she made an appointment, you know, to do an interview with me. So I just saw her for the first time, knew that I like her, and that I wanted to meet her again. So it was my luck when she actually wants to do an interview. Like, you can imagine that.
You're like,
my
yes,
number.
Let's do this. Let's get into question 2. Question 2 is a bit more of a fun one. It's one that I really enjoy asking people. Yeah, superheroes or supervillains? Which one is your favorite and why? Anti-heroes fall into supervillains, by the way. So Wolverine, supervillain. Deadpool, supervillain. Those guys are not heroes. So.
Yo. Super. You know, I like Blade, no?
Oh, yeah.
Blade for me because he started the whole. I mean, if you think like big blockbusters of the late 90s, you think about the Matrix and stuff. It was like the Renaissance period for action movies.
Oh,
and there were a couple of, I would say, comic movies that didn't make it as big or that showed the success that Blade had. Was Wesley Snipes. You know, you're seeing a black hero.
Black vampire, bro. A black vampire.
Finest in a black vampire who can walk in daytime, right?
Daylight, daywalker stuff, bro. I'm with you.
Nice gadgetry. He had the choreography down, and his acting. I think he had the tough guy lines that he had. He was always like, you know, mean mugging and that kind of thing.
Yeah, nah. Yeah. But you see, so then you're going with supervillains. Because Blade was not a hero, bro. He was not a hero. Okay. Blade was out for revenge. That wasn't because he loved humanity.
He killed other villains. So, you know, and no matter how many times they up their game, he would always find a way to smash.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
For me, he started the whole trench coat, kick-ass, you know, vibe.
That's
before the Matrix.
That's for sure. I swear the Matrix stole that from Blade. And a lot of those moves too. Them Blade moves that they had. All right. Cool. The question is, in the light of events and concerts likely being canceled for the next few months, what revenue streams are you using or looking to use in the upcoming future, you know? Just to, you know, whether it's keep food on the table or keep busy while making cash to donate to other things. Just what different types of things are you creatively coming up with for yourself or other people even?
Okay, good question. Revenue streams, the live streaming, monetizing that, and finding the best means to, I guess, keep it sharp, because you can't just jump onto any live stream. Let's say like Instagram. You know what I mean? Because I won't say Instagram is bad, but if you look at Instagram, if you go on there right now, I'm sure there would be like 5 to 7 live streams happening right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you're setting yourself apart so that you can have your own audience away from the competition.
Yeah,
I think you can still sell tickets. If you look at what Ticket is doing, what so many other platforms are doing, and then there's Patreon, which is actually geared towards the artist, any kind of artist, visual artist, musician, singers and stuff, where people can donate to you to get a piece of your work. on an
Okay.
ongoing basis per month and stuff. So Patreon, yeah, those are one of those.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant.
See? And also try to stick with the essentials. Like people always try to buy clothes. As you can see, I've got my own hoodie. It was launched at the end of last year, and got caps too. Yeah, I like yours, by the way.
Away.
Um, so that's like trying to create more revenue streams where when you can't perform, then there's another wheel that's turning, which you have to pay close attention to.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, we
Yeah,
can't stay stagnant in this time. We're gonna have to adapt and as they say,
keep
adapt or
it.
die.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen that people are now also working. Um, what's the word? Where we are creating one song, but you film yourself doing your piece, and then we edit it all together and make that one song.
Well,
And
yeah,
various
exactly. People are.
inputs.
It's. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, we can't all be physically together, but I think to just add on to your point, that's exactly what technology is there for. We're finding so many different
mm-hmm.
technological advancements that we can use to our advantage because
Yeah.
of this. I mean, if like right now,
Mm.
we're on an interview live that will later on be on a stream, but the point that we've never done this when there wasn't a lockdown. This technology was there, but we didn't use it because we weren't forced to.
You didn't pay close attention.
Exactly, and now it's
You
like, oh,
neglected.
we can do full concerts, we can have battles, rap battles, DJ battles, like all of this can happen
For
now.
sure. Yeah, you saw what Premier did with Rissa and it's
Hey,
Teddy Riley and
hey, did you see which
Babyface.
one's coming, huh?
Yeah, that's the one I was gonna mention. These legends are now breaking the internet all over again, and I like the challenge of what the lockdown is providing, because now you can think more about how do people want to experience you, and now you try to frame that
Yeah.
so that you can stay in the proverbial pocket, like.
Man, that's actually very true. That's so true. Just to give people a bit more of an in-depth, right? So, as I've told you before, the whole point of From the Jump was to get to what the parts that people don't see, behind the curtains, how Jits became Jits. Like, because truthfully, we all walk our own journeys, and even if I told somebody exactly which steps to take to become Oaken, then they're not going to do it the same. It's not going to work. They weren't in the same frame of mind. So for me, it's more about showing people that even though they get to see the end product, and it's beautiful, the struggles and sacrifices that come with making that end product is what we're trying to get out and let people also experience a little bit during these. I mean, they don't have anything else to do but listen to us, so they might as well.
Yay! It's like listening to us in whilst. Anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, the question? What's the question?
Yeah, so if you could just give them a little background on how, your creative journey has transgressed or moved throughout these past, 20 years?
20 years, man. 20 years. I think, because just after I left school, or let me rather say after I finished school, because in the 90s, there were so many, especially where I'm from, the cloth that I'm cut from. There was just too many excuses not to finish school. It wasn't seen as something that's necessary, like a matric. Yeah, then what? And a lot of my peers, they went into parenthood early. We went into drugs early. We went into all kinds of non-beneficial activities. Social. And yeah, but I think hip hop for me was more like the teacher, the after school. When you want to see the world, when you want to learn a bit more about cultures from different parts of the world, because I always knew there would be a different kind of hip hop as opposed to the American version of it in India or China or Russia for that matter, because culturally we all make use of the same methods to survive. Storytelling, where people got their own recipes, food making, clothes wearing, music making, and so you can go on and on and on.
Yep.
So those vehicles, those are our drivers, and when you look at nationhood, and before I even knew all of that, I was introduced to rap music through my late older brother, who was pretty much into NWA, Public Enemy. He would listen to the gangster stuff, but listen to the black conscious stuff.
Oh,
So by flipping the cassette, all would be on the same side. You know, when we dubbed over something.
Yeah.
Like he would dub a later like, okay, I listened to hip hop since the beginning of the 90s, actually.
Mm-mm.
When my older brother was 14. He was 14 at the time. I think it was, was he? There's a 4-year gap between us.
Oh, okay.
And he was not that old, but close enough so that I can relate. And then he would first play the NWA stuff, and then the Eazy-E stuff, and then came Snoop stuff. And then, but it would be cassettes that had Public Enemy on these. And I would listen to Eazy-E, click, clap, blah, 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 to Fuck the Police, to something really conscious, X-Clan vibe. No, so I was like, what kind of world is this? You know, planets, for me, it was like planets like orbiting when I listened to rap music in the early days. And so it progressed into me looking for the local music, the local hip hop, because now I wanted a voice. I wanted to relate more close.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could just look outside and see things happening that relates to a Nas. It was written out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's when I discovered POC and Black Melodies through very few like hip hop heads, really. Because I was growing up in Culture, in the northern parts of the Cape Flats, and you know the scene was quite small in terms of access to this kind of music.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, and the sooner I heard the style and stuff and fell in love with poetry through school, and you know my teachers giving us prescribed literature to learn about, I was like, hey, if I put a beat to this is actually a rhyme. Certain poets wrote where if you read it, you can actually, you know, the spacing was so rhythmical that I was like, yeah, this is a rhyme right here. Let me try this just with my own story. And that was early as 93, 94. Before high school, I tried to write my own rhymes.
Oh, wait. So it's all the way back. You've been coming.
Yeah, that's like almost 30 years ago. It was like 27 years ago.
Yeah, it's about 27. Because 97 was 23 years ago. Yeah, it's about 27 years ago. Damn.
Yeah, and my father brought with him 2 typewriters. One was the one without electricity, which was smaller.
Yeah. I remember those ones.
You had to punch hard to get the letter, the hammer on the, through the ribbon onto the paper.
Oh,
so and I sat there and I liked the whole, applying to the mechanisms and working the speed. And then I typed my first rhyme. Didn't write it on, but I actually typed it. And come high school, I was now a ghostwriter for the crew that I was. That I joined, as a beatboxer. So that's the cloth I was cut.
Yeah, but that's also a journey, Jits. That's a full on, and that's what I mean by creative journeys. You know, if somebody just saw you today and only found out, they watched this interview and they're like, okay, I've heard about Ch.01. He raps in Afrikaans, he does poetry in Afrikaans, he's a really dope artist. But when you come and watch the whole interview and you're like, hold up, he used to ghostwrite for people in high school? Damn, this man been out there for that long?
No, don't get me wrong. They were rhymes. But the MC or the leading, the front man, he didn't write his own rhymes. I've later found out that he actually got his material from another brother living in a different part of Kuils River, who was actually a graffiti writer. He was studying to be a graphic designer at the time. No one knew about this guy called Mossa. He lived in the other side of the road where, the middle class folk lives. And the front man is actually from the Skim area, the ghetto. and that's how those two worlds meet, in a school hall. when I heard the lyrics of POC coming from the front man's mouth, and they would do raga
Yeah.
vibe, raga versions of the songs. My bloedseker squad was deal se kop, because daar was a gang fight op also block. That's POC's Dala Flay.
Oh,
And I learned that stuff. But then it was only a 3-song repertoire, and then there would still be an audience, and we would run out of material, and that's why I started.
But you see, thank you for telling that story, Jets, because that exactly is what I'm trying to get at. Collaboration, right? I truly believe it's one of the greatest things that artists can ever do, because we learn from each other, and at the same time we let people learn from us. So not only do we learn, but we allow people to also learn from us, instead of trying to cage everything in and, no, I must be the top dog. I can't give you the secrets to the, like all of
100%.
So many artists don't want to give out their secrets, even though, I mean, nobody's gonna do it like you. So what does it matter? But I have one more question for you, Jets, from the random questions, and then we'll go back into our full-on convo. Let me see which one I actually want to ask you. Okay, what's the one chance, right, just creatively, that you never took that you wish you would have taken?
Recording a song on a Mad Lib beat.
What do you mean? Why didn't you do that?
Nah, okay, let's go back to 2005. Or should I say 2004? When I met Stacey Epps. Yeah, she actually came to South Africa, and at the time hip hop was in another phase, especially the local hip hop scene. Stacey Epps, I think was she an exchange student or something? I'm not too sure what the vibe was, but I was recording my album at High Voltage Entertainment Studios, which was a highly independent setup in Woodstock.
Okay.
See, I was a latecomer to the independent scene. It was all these folks were like machines, man. They worked hard, and they also they were fully behind doing it for sub, finding out everything, how to manage, how to produce, how to perform, and it was all embedded in a deep sense of that they knew who they were when they did the music, and that spoke a lot to me at the time, because I just did demos, and into the next demo, no business structure. And so when I met Stacey Epps, I was already a few performances deep. I already opened for the piece a couple of times in Lost, at Zula Soundbar or whatever. I did my interviews, and when she came along, she's like, "Here's a beat tape from Madlib."
Yo, bro.
I obviously loved it, bro. And I just discovered Madlib, and I think that's the year that J Dilla died, 2004.
I think it was 2004.
And yeah, man, and I was like, yo, wow, check this out. Let me get into it. But then I was told, no, too many samples on here, and blah, 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 blah. It might just not happen, I was told. So it wasn't my decision. I was just told that it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. Oh man!
And I wish I just took that CD, recorded myself elsewhere, give it back to her, and say, this is for Madlib. If whatever he wants to do with it, so that he can know there's MCs that raps in Afrikaans, that loves his beats and stuff. Just like me, I mean, I write opinion pieces for a Afrikaans publication, online publication. Every month I do 2 submissions, and keeps your pen sharp.
Yeah, I won't lie. That you are dead right about. When you get into a deal, a contract, an agreement, whereby you have to release content every month, your pen game goes ridiculous. Just a short insert. When I was writing for when was that? 2000. I was writing for I Speak. Was it I Speak Hip Hop? No, it wasn't I Speak Hip Hop. That was where I was published. There was another. I can't remember which one it was. Cape Town Street Mag. I was writing for Cape Town Street Mag. Just when I finished. Yeah, they actually created a poetry section on Cape Town Street Mag, because at that time Nikolai TNB people really liked my poetry in Cape Town. So they were like,
Salute.
so they were like, let's put up a poetry section. Will you be able to do the poems? So I was like, all right, how many poems you want? They were like, if you can give us one a week every week, we're good.
Mhm.
I sat down for 3 weeks and I wrote 54 poems, bro. That's all I did. I just wrote, and my pen game went ridiculous from there. And then you saw me perform afterwards.
You wrote 54 poems in a week.
In 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Oh,
2
but
weeks.
that's still a feat, though.
Yeah, but I only released like 24 of them to them, because like, I mean, after a while I was like, look, man, I'm tired of giving you guys, because I would just every week I just send them a poem because I already wrote it, right? So I don't have to write it. Every week I just send it.
Yeah, you were just waiting to say send.
Exactly. How important is it for young up and coming artists to collaborate? And not just
Collaboration.
not just to collaborate to elevate their status, but is it important for them to collaborate to literally learn how to be a better version of themselves? That's the question.
Yeah. Okay, collaboration I highly recommend, because it's not just an exchange of, the meeting of minds. It's the meeting of professionalism, because you would always want to put your best foot forward when collaborating, because you pay more attention to the end product when you are collaborating, as opposed to when it's your own work, because now you go, let me try this, and then you put it aside, and then half bake here, full blown there, go back. This one is where, oh, hold on. What did you say? How many times should I do this again? Four different work? What elevates you is the process of collaboration.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah.
In itself. And you take a dive or gaze inward, you learn more about yourself. You would learn about yourself quicker when you collaborate with someone. I collaborated with an opera singer for a TV program called Head Rap back in 2008, I think. And I had just come back from Switzerland, 2008. Maybe it was before, but it was that same year. And I had to write lyrics for her to sing.
And I never actually thought of it like that, but it is really trust. It's trusting the person to do their part, and and them trusting you to do yours while you guys are creating this thing. And that's actually very beautiful, man. I never thought about it. You see, we're always learning.
I was shitting bricks, she was sweating blood, she cried tears, because of now it dawning on us that this is actually going to become nationwide. It will be broadcasted nationwide for everybody to see.
And everybody's going to be able to see.
The right catalyst. Yeah. And I was glad. I still have a copy of it, which I will probably put on my my YouTube channel soon enough, because I get all the rights.
Please do. So we can all see that. I'm trying to see that go down. And that was one of my favorite spots, man. Zula Bar was, that place, man. It was so wild.
Tell you stories, bro.
Yo, I don't even want to tell my stories from that place. Let's just leave it alone. So it got too wild there, man. I got fired from performing.
That will be my first question if I'm to interview you. Yeah, let's get right into it. I'll introduce you later.
How'd you get fired for performing?
You actually managed that?
Yeah, it was a wild time in Black Vulcanite history, bro.
Hey, Black Vulcanite, love the guys. Please send my regards.
I don't know why people don't like pineapple on pizza. It's pretty weird to me. I think it's more of a hype thing. You just don't care why they don't. They must not eat
it. Like it. Come on, don't come with me about that. You know, yeah.
Nah, that's for sure. That's truth right there. That's truth right there. If you don't like it, don't eat from my fucking pizza, bro. Go get your own.
Then you can, yeah.
Nah, that's beautiful. But I do believe it's a hype thing. And speaking about hype, how much do you think artists nowadays are too invested in the hype instead of the actual product? Do you think that is the case, or do you think it's not at all?
I'm more of a substance guy. Substance over hype. Hype is like, okay, so it's almost like I want to quote the official Big Daddy Kane right now.
Mm.
If the beat makes an MC dope in a track, then good for them. But if that sound expires, and if you know what I mean, if the beat is gone, it's like you are not even a memory. Like it was about the sound. That was what was most important, and that was the hype of its time. That's why I try not to buy into the sound of a particular time.
But then again, that's my personal opinion. I'm glad that we share it, though. I'm not the only one. I'm not going crazy, you know. And then
but we can disagree also on that. I mean, for me, at the same time, I like observing the hype and see what if that can carry. Sometimes something becomes your hype if you create it. Let's take Youngster, for instance, on his old stance and Kaapstad Meyer. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, how long can you drive it? When I saw them producing clothing with it on it, it's like, okay, so this wasn't just something people say. They actually made it. They cultivated it into a business. You know, standing behind it so strongly that they were like, no, this is our business. They're gonna put it out there, and your mom will wear this. You know what I mean? Your life is gonna wear this. So it's beyond just the expression, Naya. You know what I mean?
It's got a whole movement behind it. Agreed. But and the whole point of that is because you're literally giving people a piece of your soul. You're giving them a piece of yourself that you can't take back. It's there. And to do that, you need to go deep.
Now listen to this guy. You talk about me, Gazi. You write a book. You need to write a book.
I did. I just never released it.
No, that's true.
I like money, but it's never gonna give you that. That's a soul where somebody comes and touches your soul and says thank you for existing. That's something different.
I've got so many, you know, at this very point, like when we're talking, I'm glad you imposed these because during the 90s, and I mean like late 90s, when I was discovering, not just discovering, practicing my own voice. I could have been in a Shabin, but thanks to Head Warmer's sessions on Bush Radio 89.5 on a Saturday, either a Friday evening from 10 till 12 or 10 till 1, or a Sunday afternoon. Those are the critical times. I don't know what the Saturday time was, but those are critical times for a youngster in his late teens, mid-teens, with all the demons that can be practiced that are just known to us. Like I could be at the Shabin, or I could be, getting fucked up somewhere. Yet I was listening, I was applying the same passion to do something, sitting and listening to every underground track that came through the airwaves that was unlike any other radio station. It wasn't the famous ones, it was more, because 89.5 is like, bro, if you don't put the modulator on the exact right point, listen. It's like, it's so small. And then for me, being visual, with my concepts I always saw it as that small doorway that led to big things every time. So 89.5 head warmers. This is space for my head. This is for my mind. Let me go in there. And because it had such a small window on the dial, it just spoke to me so loudly, like, nah, I need to pay attention to that. I don't get just to have peek through, because it was a world. I mean, I heard Wu-Tang through there. I heard the Saucy Nomad. I had local guys I never met in my life, but they sounded just like me. The Devious that I heard, stuff. People that phoned into rap on an instrumental. That's how raw it was. Before ciphers became a thing where MCs could go to radio stations and just be like, all puffed out chest and rapping, blah, blah, blah. You had to run to the nearest public telephone, throw in your coin or putting that phone card in there and ask him to put you on. That's where
exactly.
That's the shit that we had to do. I'm like, let me know, all my brothers know, like, hey, Gisa, I'm gonna call in and do my verse.
Oh, wait, tune in.
So that they can tune in and let them answer. And then everybody would listen and say, Kegisa, we live on the radio. Before Instagram was live, before Facebook was live. We did
Exactly.
live.
Exactly.
So,
Live on the radio, bro. Live and direct. If you mess up, you mess up. It is what it is.
You mess up. They're not gonna say start over.
Nah. It's done. That was your chance, bro. Next. Time out.
So we should definitely have a part 2.
Oh, we're gonna have a part 2.
Boy.
The question I wanted to ask you was, my bro, there's one song of yours that I cannot get over. It's fucking Brainsaker. Yo, that track. Nah, I'm dead serious, bro, because it's like, it's different, man. I think it's because when you perform it live, it's got that participation aspect to it, man, with the crowd.
Okay.
But it's not a thing where you're telling the crowd like, put your hands up the whole time, you know. It's a subtle bringing them into the feeling of it, you know. And that along with the music itself, it's like poetry. It's poetry, but it's poetry with a pull, man. Like I don't even know how to fucking completely. You tell me what's going on, just.
Thanks. I think you saw the live performance we did that I did with the trio.
Yeah.
At Root Spring House, which was probably one of the best experiences I had with the band because the sound was so nice, the audience was different. It was all, it was grown folk. Grown folk. You look at your aunties and uncles in the audience and you go, shit, am I going to perform Kama Sutra? Am I going to perform things that will make them go, you know what I mean? So I just had to get over myself. Sometimes it's you standing in your own way, thinking that they might not be ready, but Kanti, are you ready for them? But Brainsaker, I love performing that because I think it speaks to a way people feel about, you know, being attractive or attracted to others, but you don't hear a lot of songs about it. So that's just my homage to that kind of attraction. Just kind of under rug swept or underrated. I want to make more songs where we talk about stuff that we attract. Different types of attractions that doesn't get the airtime as the normal fuck you songs, you know?
Yeah, the fuck you. Hoes, cars, money.
And in those words, yeah.
No,
I like it.
Yeah, no, but you see, and why I'm saying, for me, why this song or why that performance was so gripping, man, is because you literally make the people feel those words. And it's because of the way you carry yourself when you perform, bro. I fucking swear, it's like, it's impossible not to fucking listen to you. It's like, it's an OG talking to me right now. Let me sit and oh, damn, he killing it. He killing it. I'm like, fuck, man. I enjoy that one. I really do.
And please collaborate, not just only on music, but as an artist, collaborate with other businesses, because that's where one needs to start thinking. I've heard of, look, if you're the artist who just wants to give to people to listen for free, that's up to you.
Yeah.
And if you have another means to provide, you know, put bread on the table, a roof over your head, then cool. But if you're the artist that really wants to explore the terrain, you will bump into a lot of men that are business savvy, even if they are like MCs. It's necessary.
And again, as you said, it's. I'm glad you said it like that. It's not just about rappers collaborating with rappers or rappers collaborating with singers, or it's about collaboration across the creative sphere. And business entrepreneurship is creative. I mean, you gotta pull rabbits out of your ass every day. So I truly agree with you. It is time that artists go and speak to somebody that owns a business that you know and be like, yo, man, how would you say I can put some money in my pocket with this that I've got right here? Which way should I go? Because a lot of the people that do business nowadays at least did one course or a diploma or something, you know, in a business something, just to find out exactly how to structure it and all that, man. So no doubt. That's I agree totally.
Look,
No, go on.
I was just thinking, The thing that you shouldn't forget is that you might not come up with the idea to sell yourself,
Mm.
but the person who's gonna make the most out of that is seeing you as a brand in order to do so. So if you don't see yourself as a brand doing your music, then you might just lose a whole lot of other things that could be as creatively exciting, even
Agreed.
just by lending your voice. Maybe your brand is strongest in your voice because of the texture, and then other entities can use that to make characters around it as a series for an animation or an ad for Ray-Bans or who knows, man. And then that might end up paying your bills at the end of the day. Maybe you can use that
There we
TV
go.
money to finance your next EP album. Who knows? So yeah.
Away. Thanks, man. I truly hope people are listening and taking notes on what the hell they should be doing moving forward.
They do.
Thank you so much, bro. Like, I don't think you understand how great this interview is and how much information and knowledge was dropped that people can actually move forward with in this thing. And that's exactly what I wanted us to be able to do, bro. So blessings upon you, man.
Thank you. For you too, man. And I believe that this is going to be a change maker for many a discussion, interview in the future.
Blessings, man. Thanks a lot for coming through. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Jutsvanger for you. You have seen, you have heard. This is From the Jump, and we'll be back.
Gedachten vreemd weet zeker niet maar net als smaak zoals Janie. Zoet goed als kaas, zo cakey. Ik zoek daar bij zeker. Smart individual, wat mij stimulate. Ik is down voor my slim